Hello and welcome once again to Lost in the Sauce. Well, today I've got a couple of good, well, they're breakfasty, they're brunchy. I'm going to do a cheese souffle and a different kind of hash, an andouille hash. I mean, hash is, basically corned beef hash. I've made that here before. Everyone's had corned beef hash. But an andouille hash, andouille sausage, Cajun sausage, might be nice, little bite to it, little different thing in the morning. I'm going to start the souffle now, and I may jump into the hash in between because the souffle is sort of a mix as you go. I'm going to do a cheese souffle, so I'm going to grate some cheese. Swiss cheese is the standard for any usual cheese souffle having the French feel of Swiss cheese to it. I know it should be French cheese, but Swiss is usually the way to go. It's kind of mild, it's mellow. Cheddar's a little sharp for this. And with this, I'm going to make a basic white sauce, which is all this is. I've made the white cheese sauce for different, like cauliflower and cheese or macaroni and cheese, and it's a base. Like I said before, a white sauce or a roux. It's a base for many different things. One of them is a souffle. All right, we'll grind this up. It's all stuck. Come out. No, that's plenty. Well, it was hiding up in there. Okay, so we've got cheese, cup and a half. This is probably too much. I'll just take some of that. I want to get everything prepared ahead of time because once I start into it, it's like I said, it's a mix and a pull-out. Also with this, you need egg whites and egg yolks separated. So I started already. I need 2 extra egg whites over the yolk, so I'd stuck those in here already. So I'm just going to separate some eggs. We'll do 4 eggs. Get them out so don't roll around the counter here. And separating eggs is fairly easy. Everybody's done it. If you haven't, well, you can get one of those nice little separators that it sits right on the, don't want any yolk in there, no. It sits right on top of a little tray or dish, and it's got a little center thing the yolk plops onto, and it chops around. It's real cute. But we're going to beat these whites stiff, so we don't want any yolk in there, or shell. Shell wouldn't work either. Get out of there. So I should have done this before. Okay. Come on. Just getting the white out of the yolk. 3. One more. Ooh, smash. And that will probably do us. Okay. I'm going to wipe my hands. Egg whites I'm going to put aside for a minute. We're going to have to beat those stiff. I don't have a beater. They should really be beat by hand, which we're going to do, which could be a little painstaking to watch, but fun nonetheless. These yolks you want to beat a little bit. What am I going to do this with? Just going to beat these yolks up a little. And so they're ready to go. The yolks are actually going to go into our cheese sauce. Right away I'm going to, the oven's on 375, by the way. Good way to start. You don't put the oven on, you're already down 2 points. I'm going to make the basic roux with the white sauce. So I'm going to need to put 2 tablespoons, generally 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons flour, about a cup of milk. I'm going to go a little less on the milk because I'm looking for a thicker consistency. If you use milk with less cream in it, sometimes it doesn't come up as fast. Then if you heat it, it comes up faster. There's different methods to get it up there. We're going to go very basic here. And we'll say 2 tablespoons are probably in that department. And then we're going to add the flour. If I'm a little heavy on this, it doesn't really matter so much. This is just a base sauce. and be able to tell by the way it comes up. If you measure it exact, it works out. I'm not measuring it, so I'm just gauging it. After you made a few of them, you can tell. You can tell that I put too much butter in again. That's what I can tell. Right off the bat. So I'm going to add a little more flour to this. Oh, that's better. Gets a nice muddy consistency to it. I'm going to let that bubble up just for a minute. You want it to get a little bit golden in color. It brings out a lot of flavor. The longer you let this go, you'll get a brown roux, a blonde roux, this roux or that roux. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper on this now, because I like to. You don't have to do it now. You could add it later. All right, and then I'm going to add the milk to this. It's about, this was 3/4 of a cup for this particular recipe. Like I said, but up to a cup will work quite nicely. And so if you heat it, it'll come up faster. It'll really thicken up quick. If you're in a pinch or a jam and you've got, you know, like I have cauliflower and cheese going, I need to make a quick cheese sauce. I heat the milk, I hit the microwave on, I put the milk on for a minute, minute and a half. You want it steaming. It comes out, you hit it in there, the thing's up in a minute. You got the whole sauce, it's in the oven, you're moving. But this works too. Get my cheese over here. And we're going to have to make some, I was going to put my, some chives and thyme I'm going to do also as well. To keep my eye. You don't want this to go, see what starts happening, it gets thick and it goes. I'm going to put some cheese in it now. I'm going to add a touch more milk to this. So I think it's a little thin. Or fat. Now it'll be thin. Was thin, was fat. It'll be right. That's all that matters. Okay. Now this here, I'm going to remove this off the heat for a minute, because I don't want it to keep going and take off on us there. And I'm going to do some chives into this. Herbs in this stuff is great. Let's see, make sure I'm on the right page with myself here. Okay. Let's use him. And, you know, whatever you want for chives. It's up to you. I like chives. Add a lot of flavor. We're going to dump that into the mix. And I'm going to add a little bit of thyme in that too. Not much. Thyme goes a long way. Fresh thyme. Cut it up very small. Watch out for the big stem. Don't need much. Just for a little hint of thyme. Hint of thyme. Okay, now we are going to temper some of this stuff. Get this out of here. With our eggs here, we got to dump the yolks into this, but if we put it in here, it's going to start boiling, which isn't going to work for us at all. So we're going to add some of the cheese mixture to this. Not much. And we're going to mix it in, which is going to temper out these yolks. You want them to bring them to temperature, because if you do it all at once and hot, then what's going to happen is it's going to turn into scrambled eggs, which we don't want. Okay. That should be pretty well done. And we're going to dump this back in. I could do this right on here. Come on. Actually, I need this on. We're just going to bring that in as part of it, so you have a nice blend in there. We didn't scramble our eggs. We're good to go. I'm going to take this off the heat now to cool for a minute or two. And with that, we got to beat up the whites. Beat them. Smash them. Get rid of some of our debris here. May need that later. Definitely need that later. Okay. We're going to beat these whites stiff. And if it gets too long, I'm going to jump on the hash, which I probably should do anyway. I'm going to add a little cream of tartar to this, which is also going to help. It helps bind all that. Any kind of meringues, or about a 1/4 teaspoon to the 4 eggs should put us in the picture. Yeah, well, we're beating air into this, which is going to make it get nice and white and foamy, and it's starting to get foamy already. It'll increase in volume. I know, if I brought the electric mixer down here, but then you wouldn't have had the enjoyment of watching me work my arm out. If you do this in a copper bowl, it actually comes up a lot faster. I don't know how many people have copper bowls sitting around. If I had an electric beater, it would even come up faster than that. I'm going to start on the sausage stuff. So get my armor rest number 1. We can jump back in that. We just don't want this to turn into a brick. Turn into a brick. Because I have to start the sausage anyway, because this has to go for a little bit. I'm going to put a pan on here with a little butter in it. You can use some oil if you want. You know, it's breakfast. We'll go to town. And an onion. Large onion. Large onion. And we're just going to leave this in long strips as we do it. Usually I cut these a little thinner than we're going to go, but today I'm going to make them a little longer. Longer cut. And put those in there. May need more. This wasn't as big an onion as I thought. You need a large onion. Big onion. Maybe it'll work. We'll see. And that's going to go for a minute or so. And the potatoes, I did these, I took them out already. I used red potatoes for this one. I actually did these at home. It's not something I normally do. On the show here, I try to do every single thing in front of you, just to show that, you know, it's not a mystery. Somebody's handing me something from the side, or it's coming out of thin air. Or I've made 3 of the recipes already, and I'm showing you them already done. This I did this morning before I got here because I didn't have the time. I just blanched them in some water like you would with potatoes for about 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Pull them out, you know, let them sit in the pot, dump the water out, let them sit there for a while, run some cold water over them and let them cool. They really need to cool because then they, besides being able to handle, they're a lot more solid. The water leaves it, and but I don't care if they're messy. See, the red potatoes, the skins come right off them, but that's part of it for me. See, I like that. So, for me, this works. And we don't have to be fancy. This is a home-style thing. I'm not making even cuts here. This is, you know, breakfast for your family, or maybe some people you don't like down the street. You're not going to cut it even for them, right? Someone you have over you don't really want to have over. And you give them a bad potato. Okay. I'll get back on my souffle for a minute. The souffle takes about 20 minutes to bake. So I want to make sure I have time to have that all done as well. And I'm going to put salt and pepper in that. Pepper was going low. So. Pepper, and some salt in there. Just these little translucent. They're looking nice. Where is my favorite? I don't have it here. No, I'll use this one. And you can see they're beginning to get a little translucent. Nice glowing, glassy look to them. That's where you want to be. That's what we want to be. We'll throw in our potatoes now. I don't know how many of these we will need, but I made plenty just in case. Need more than that. Need more than that. Whoa, sliding out on me. And we'll put these in. Yeah, maybe I'll do one more and get a new spoon for the one that dropped on the floor. But I hope I don't step on, so I'll go flying. Now I lost my good spoon and my favorite spoon. That should be enough. Now that's just going to cook out for a while. I'm just going to let that go. Not on a major heat, lower heat. I'm going to put a little more butter in there just because I want to. That's going to sizzle off for a while. It's going to cook out. It's going to be great. We're going to add some stuff to that too. We're going to add, what are we going to add to that? All right, we're going to put a little garlic in there too. I like adding a little garlic. I keep forgetting about it. That's why you have to look this stuff up. Clove of garlic. A clove. Come on. Get out of my fingers. Thin strips. You don't want the garlic in too early either because it will burn. It settles in now, a lower heat. It should just mellow out with everything else. Should mellow out with the whole gang. I am going to add a little more salt and pepper to this as it goes along. The first one was for the onions. I have to season the potatoes as well. Now let's get back to the action. Probably have to throw some herbs in there soon, and I have to cut the andouille sausage. I wish I had a good story or something during this, you know, like, I don't though. No souffle stories. Well, it's beginning to foam. Come on. It's got to get there soon. I walked out the house without my electric beater. That could be a good story. See, this isn't my house, so it's like I go into a cabinet and I've got all this stuff here. It just doesn't work like that. I don't bring it. It's not here. Getting thick. Almost there. If you're making lemon meringue pie or something, you would need this. You can have a meringue. You would whip this till it got really thick and dry and stiff peaks. We're going to get it just peaking. It's almost there. Don't want to burn that either. You thought this was easy, you know? It is easy. Just takes an arm. Work out in the morning. Woo! I'll run a couple miles after this. Come on. Almost there. I can see it. Can you see that? Look at that. How thick that is? It is there. It's air and volume, and we are so close. And you need that volume, or the souffle will not have any air and fill up, and it doesn't work. We don't want to lose our cheese either. Keep that on a little heat. And we'll just turn this over. Now they're starting to get a nice aroma now, so I'm going to throw some more pepper on that, a little salt on that. So the potatoes are well seasoned, and we can finish this out. Oh, I want to throw the andouille. Oof, man, see, I'm getting so involved in this, I forgot that. I want to bring this back into action. The andouille sausage, you buy them where you find cooked hams and things like that, and kielbasa and all that great stuff. Cajun sausage. I was going to use linguiça, which is kind of a nice sausage too, hot, plenty of punch. But I thought this would, I don't know, I like andouille sausage. Very hot, but a nice flavor. It's got a great flavor. Let's throw these in. I probably won't need all those sausages, but that one. I got too many things going. See, I'm trying to keep this going, this going. I don't want to lose any of this. Just feel like a short order cook. Come on. In half. Andouilles. Like I said, fully cooked. You could eat them like this. Heat them up. Heat them and eat them. Toss that in. Yeah, just a little bit more. Oh, I forgot this. Forgot that. A little bit more. Half of one. All right. That's nice. You could shred this up if you want. I may add the rest of this one. See, I'm getting andouille crazy here. Why waste a half a sausage? Why waste it? I'll take the other one home. Have it later. All right. We're back to this again. We're almost done. Stiff peaks, stiff peaks. Almost there. Oh, almost got those peaks. It's like whipped cream. I want to go with it. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of this. Oh, not that way. Add a little bit of this into here. And we're going to mix that just to thin it out a little bit. I'm going to put it all back into the egg whites. All back. All back in. And blend this up. I'm going to fold it in. Make sure everything's just worked in there really well. Folding it in, folding it in. You can see getting a nice mixed consistency here. And we're going to put this in a greased, I don't have a souffle dish, but I have a 4-cup dish like this. I'm going to put it in here, throw it in 375, 20 minutes. We'll be back. Well, as you see, everything's come out wonderful, I think. The cheese souffle, browned on top, puffed up a little right out of the center. That's going to be nice. Sitting here next to our andouille hash, mixed in there, great flavors. Andouille, excellent sausage. I recommend you try it. Reread my poem. The morning breaks, the brain it wakes, the body works, the coffee perks, the waking shower, the sifting flour, the stomach lacking, the eggs are cracking, the paper's soon, the mixing spoon, the breakfast tray, the baked souffle. I want to thank you once again for watching for Lost in the Sauce. I'm Gerry Beaney. We'll see you next time. So long.